Once again, welcome back to our new session, and we will continue our third part with the important bits in mechanical engineering. Here, the next bit comes like this: a uniform slender cylinder rod is made up of homogeneous and isotropic material. The rod rests on a frictionless surface. The rod is heated uniformly. If the radial and longitudinal thermal stresses are represented by sigma R and sigma Z respectively, then options are given like this: A, sigma R is equal to 0, comma, sigma Z is equal to 0. B, sigma R not equal to 0, comma, sigma Z is equal to 0. C, sigma R is equal to 0, comma, sigma Z not equal to 0. D, sigma R not equal to 0, comma, sigma Z is equal to sigma Z also not equal to 0. So here asking the slender cylinder rod is made up of a homogeneous isotropic material. So you know that homogeneous and isotropic material means it is having similar properties in all the directions, and material is having same Young's modulus and material properties similarly in all directions. The rod rests on a frictionless surface. So the rod is resting on a frictionless surface. So the rod is heated uniformly, is started to heat the rod uniformly if the radial and longitudinal thermal stress are represented. So what is going to happen? See, here you have to understand that he is not saying that is that rod is just rests on a frictionless surface and there is no constraints given. So what are the stresses induced and what is the radial stress and thermal stresses, longitudinal stresses is expecting what is the radial stress and the longitudinal stress. So what is the answer? Here you can understand that when it is not constrained in any direction, so both radial stress and longitudinal stress must be equal to 0. Any stress will be produced only when it is constrained to expand or contract. Okay, next problem. Two identical cantilever beams are supported as shown with their free ends in contact through a rigid roller. After the load P is applied, the free ends will have. So here you can see two identical cantilever beams are connected by a roller and at ends, and there is a load P is applied at the free end. What is going to happen? So options are given: A, equal deflection but not equal slopes. B, equal slopes but not equal deflections. C, equal slopes as well as equal deflections. D, neither equal slope nor equal deflection. Here this is fixed with the roller. You can understand this. So what we can expect, because what is going to happen, you have to understand the slope and deflection. So is applying the load as shown in the figure. So here you can see it is answer is A, equal deflections but not equal slopes. See here due to we are applying the load. So here what happens, you are getting the equal deflection. Deflection means how much it is move in y direction. So that is both are going in the y direction equally, but due to the different force applied by the P at rigid roller, because you are applying the different forces, the slope is not equal. Slope means what is slope? Y by x, tan inverse y by x, that is not is going to be equal in this concept. Okay, you understand this? Next point, next question. The two shafts AB and BC of equal lengths and diameters D and 2D are made of same material. They are joined at B through a shaft coupling. While the ends A and C are built in, a twisting moment is applied to the coupling if TA and TC represent a twisting moment at the ends A and C respectively. Then, so here he is applying a force in between. These two are built in a wall. See, this is like cantilever. There is a torque T is applying. So he is asking what is the TA and TC. So options given: TC is equal to TA, B, TC is equal to 8 TA, C, TC is equal to 16 TA, D, TA is equal to 16 TC. here one diameter is twice to the other diameter. So you know that torsion T is equal to pi pi 16 fs d cube. So one is d and another is the 2d. So here these two are not equal because both are having different diameters, and how it is coming. See here Tc is equal to 16 Ta, because you can understand torsion formula T by J is equal to G theta by L. Here you can simplifying this. We know that it is a function of its polar inertia, polar moment of inertia, where torsion can really having a relation with the polar moment of inertia. Here Ta d power by d power 4 is equal to Tc by 16 d power 4, because here d is can be replaced by 2d. So 16 d power 4, the answer is equal to Tc is equal to 16 Ta. A cantilever beam carries the anti-symmetric load shown, where W naught is the peak intensity of the distributed load. Qualitatively, the correct bending moment diagram for this beam is. So here you can see he is asking the correct movement diagram for a cantilever load. This is a anti-symmetric load shown in the figure. That is the load he is applying. One side it is W and the other side is W naught, and it is for a length of the LL. So it is varying. So answers, there are 4 figures are given how the shape varies. So it is a cantilever beam, you can understand this. So what is going to happen in this case? See, answer is C. So for uniformly varying load, bending moment will be cubic in nature. So the answer will be coming like C. That means it is having initially the he is asking as a bending moment is more, and as it is going in the other direction, the bending moment is going to decrease, because one is the if you consider one is the clockwise, the other one is the anti-clockwise. So the bending moment varies with the this one, and this is varies cubically. So you cannot take A, because the bending moment is more at the, if you any cantilever beam take and the bending moment is more at the fixed end and less at the free end. Okay, thank you for me giving this chance. Thank you.